So here we have the telekinesis room, where this is Professor Javier's study, and he needs your help in order to move some items. But he also suspects you have telekinetic abilities. So here you will see that if you use your mind powers, you can move the books onto the shelf over there as he requests. And the books move around as if you were truly moving them with your mind. And the goal is to get all 4 books on the same bookshelf. So here we see the VR user having some difficulty because you're still trying to get a hold of your telekinetic powers. Finally gets a hold of it and gets to put it on the shelf, which will trigger the next voiceover. Professor Javier needs your help to move the crate, because he's been doing some cleaning, back to the top of the stairs. And you click it, and you're able to move it. Now, you see it's also difficult to move up the stairs with such a clunky object. And now, also some challenges in developing this were that in the actual VR headset, you are unable to click on the objects.
So we're going to go into the green portal for the shield level. The objective of this little mini game is to get the turrets to spawn spheres at you. Your shield will then act as a colliding object with them, and the end goal is either through toggling your shield on and off, or alternatively running the orbs into the cube there to trigger collisions. After a certain number of collisions, the wall in front of us will actually go down, and we will go ahead to the teleport pad that will take us back to our alternative missions. So the turrets do have a range on them. If you back off more than a magnitude of approximately 10 meters, they will stop firing at you. The projectiles themselves do have an expiration time, about 20 seconds. They will disappear from the world to prevent memory overload. The turrets themselves also are kinetic free bodies, meaning they will respond to collisions but will not feel physics forces themselves, which means that with all these projectiles flying around, you will not see any adverse effects. And so one final indicator of the wall going down is the goalie screaming at you. And so that is the minigame completed, and we are back at the hangar.
So we're on to the laser vision portion of our VR app. Essentially, in this portion of the app, the premise is that the user has laser vision and will be using it to destroy a number of targets. So as you can see, having the laser actually fixed to your vision can make for some interesting experiences. Here I demonstrate trying to track a moving ball with the laser and my gaze through a kind of maze-like structure that I've set up. The balls themselves have a set amount of health. Various balls have different sets of health. I balanced it depending on how difficult it would be to actually hit it in the first place. Here I'm using the mirror to bend the laser around a corner, or reflect it around a corner, and hit this ball that would otherwise be very hard to hit. And in this room I made much of the walls reflectors, and there's that spherical structure you just caught a glimpse of that will be used to show those last 2 balls in, I think, rather interesting fashion. Yep, there are sounds and explosion animations for those balls. You can get some really weird, cool reflections with the laser in this environment. And that's a pretty cool skybox I found. Yep. And yeah, once the last ball has been destroyed, you teleport back to the main room.
My name is Patrick Ploska. I developed the Shield soccer level. And so some of the technical challenges I encountered during that level were using auto-targeting scripts for the turrets. They had to be extensively modified for my particular turret model, but they ended up working very nicely. Projectiles or standard projectiles with a customized shooting script that we developed. And yeah, that's about the technical challenges. There were some problems with the shield, but those can be seen on the website and so forth. But the turrets were the main technical achievement of that particular shield build.
My name is Brenton Lin. I was in charge of the laser vision portion of the game. Basically, the technical challenges I faced were initially how to make the scene more complex. I eventually settled on making the lasers reflect, and then there was the challenge of actually getting the scripting to make those lasers reflect. In the end, the lasers were able to reflect, and then I actually had to do the actual level building, the puzzle aspect, and to make level challenging, and then how to deal with actually allowing people to reflect the lasers around corners effectively, and other things dealing with materials, how to make the setting realistic or appealing, and yeah, generally that's that.
And I'm Jason Ortiz. I did the telekinesis level, and the main challenge definitely was figuring out how to let the user actually drag and move objects to simulate having telekinesis. And while that, I found the standard asset in the Unity files to drag rigid bodies and applied that. When it actually we ended up porting to the head-mounted display, it would not be able to pick up the objects because of, we presume, issues with how the C# file uses the mouse position.